Hey there, guys. Um, so needed to just relax a bit after today. So that's why we're doing this here, and you know, I there's a lot going on that I have going on personally. I just had a pretty rough day. So yeah, I just need to sort of kind of cool it for a little bit. Not really ready to necessarily talk about anything specific. If I'll ever really tell the full story of what's going on in my head, but you know. Just not a good day, and I have to accept the fact that I know I just came off of a little bit of a break, but it wasn't really a break for me. And there's just a lot. Really rough day, and well, the whole point is I certainly don't want to necessarily put certain things, on a stream, and there's just some things about your private self, your private life, and things that you go through that, you're not like, just like an actor wouldn't sit there and talk about, some really personal stuff, like that's like, why would he do that, why wouldn't he promote his movie or something like that, you know, so. Like right now, like in the sense of, you know, just wanting to be honest with you guys, because I know I normally do a sort of vlog idea of sort of kind of vlog stream kind of, and so the point is, you know, to be honest about, you know, kind of what's going on, you know, at times and stuff like that, but just understand that there's, because of the world the way it is, that some things you just can't be putting out there for, you know, for the others. And so just I'm really trying to be honest with you, not have some sort of, like, if you want, like, the, you know, the full honesty without telling you everything. I'm trying not to have some sort of really serious health issue happen because of stress level. And I'll be a little bit honest with you too. A little honest is, you know, like it's the sort of thing where, like, you get enough warning signs about that. It's time to just say, okay. Halt. Alto. Stop. Take a break. That sort of thing. And even just the level of stress that I have after today. I just don't want to be, you know, doing streams and being stressed on stream. You get what I'm saying. So I just need, again, to, well, this is why I did this in here, so that I could help at least relax a little bit. But at least I'm to give you guys a little bit of an explanation. You know, because honestly, I was planning to do, I really was gonna do some fun stuff for Halloween. It really was. I usually do stuff for Halloween. You guys knew that. I don't really go out or do anything, so I do streams. I like to have fun with a stream. So I'll be honest, I don't know that I feel like doing that. But I'm just trying to be honest with you. I had like plans to do that. Like, there was some cool stuff coming. But the cool stuff's on hold. And, I don't know for how long. I don't know if I just can't even process thought at the moment. I don't have again, I'm not going to sit here and explain a private situation, but I just, it's not good. That's all. Just, I need to. And, the important thing is, I need for everybody on here to just kind of be about yourselves, just don't worry about, this doesn't, it's not, it's just not something, I can't even process the thoughts to think about this at the moment, and I'm trying really hard, but that's the point. I need to not do that. It's literally making my head hurt. Literally, physically, it's aside from the pain that's already there, which you guys know is already there, it's literally making the top of my head hurt. Trying to just, put words out there without blurting this whole thing out, but I just don't feel like it's just fun. It's just I just need to just be I'm doing so much, and I don't think that certain people appreciate or respect the amount of things that I do. I think that there's this misconception, since I always have looked young and I sort of wear my pain well, and I guess they say I aged well because of the not looking my age sort of thing and everything. So people just assume there's always this fucking general assumption about me that I find that this is not true. And it's vestigial, it's the physical one, it's the one people see that they judge, that they don't look at my character and get to know me, they just see it vestigially somehow because they look at something wrong, you know, like swearing or, you know, like whatever it is that they're choosing to judge, you know, whatever they're picking. You get what I'm saying? And I just sorry, excuse me a second. It's crazy how the universe works, isn't it? It's really crazy. Alright, just come over here. So, you know, it's kind of amazing how there are all these things happening to, you know, people, you know, just all this stuff, all this toxicity, all this weirdness. And it's pretty crazy how there can just be so many things sometimes that to other people and to an outside perspective, it would look like just coincidence, like just there's a bunch of shit happening that just escalating. It just happens to be a coincidence. Just not obvious pattern. And then, systematically, it's amazing how systematically people who are on display in the public's eye are screwed with, harassed, and it's even it even happens by people that you would least expect, people that are close and stuff like that. And it just is incredible that systematically this keeps happening, where over and over and over there's all these patterns of just the same thing. Somebody in the public's view is harassed or assaulted or stalked, something like that. It clearly happened because of a breach of trust, a breach of something that should have been there, should have been implicitly there, and is now systematically over and over and over being overlooked. And it's happening to, again, so many people that are just there just because they're there, and it's so wrong. So, I know, obviously, it's pretty crazy, but it's really not. It's really not. When you've been following along and you've been seeing these patterns develop, it's really not that crazy, because Well, then you've been following along. And you knew that there was going to be many like things that were going to happen. You know, sorry. Sorry, I was gonna, I had planned to do a totally different stream with you guys today, but that obviously didn't happen. So, yeah, here we are. Yeah, sorry, my thought process is just totally just gone now. like I said, it's like, it's not just what happened today, it's everything, including today. And today was really bad. Today was really bad. But it was already really bad. It's just not a good, this time of the year. It's not like a superstition about Halloween or anything. It's just a specific significance to me. So just lots of really huge things piling up. In addition to the pain that's manifesting right as I try to speak, in addition to the escalating chronic pain that I've been having. Which is also why you've seen me last. It just makes it so that the things that I do go a little bit, just the chores are gonna go slower and stuff, they just don't get as much done. Still doing stuff, it just takes longer. Pain really is such a pain. So anyway, don't expect to hear some, explanation or story or anything. I don't really have one. So there's nothing. It's nothing like that. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about private stuff on here. I'm not saying that I'm not knocking anybody that does or anything like that. People be about their business. I'm just saying I'm not, because of my own personal reasons. I'm just not. It's not doing it. And certain stuff. You guys know I try to be as honest as I can be, and I think that I'm pretty honest. I'm a lot more forthright than a lot of streamers out there. You guys know I typically don't try to do the whole clickbait nonsense and stuff like that. Just content speak for itself sort of thing. And oh God, sorry. it is pretty, like I said, in addition to just everything sucking right now. Pain is pretty potent. So yeah, that's a wonderful thing to deal with. But yeah, anyway, I was gonna at least tell you guys that don't fret too much. I'm gonna do my best to power through this like I've done everything else. You guys know that I've had to go through trying to deal with. And sorry, it's just really the a lot of stuff going on in there. Where was I? Shit. Sorry. Oh man, totally lost it. My bad. Shit, man. This is just awful. It really, really is. There's another way to describe it. Awful. I'm really sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm sorry. Let me just try to get back on track here if I can. So yeah, I was gonna, since I can't remember what I was gonna say, I'll just tell you I was gonna do a stream today. Obviously that's not happening. But, I still may do that at some point. But I don't think that it's gonna. Well, I know it's not gonna happen tonight, for sure. really, that's why I wanted to, because of the stress level of everything. That's why I really had to like tell you guys, just don't necessarily expect, because I know I said, hey, let's make content again, but oh boy, it's bad. I'll be honest, I think the fact that I need to blow my nose doesn't help. Man. Definitely creating some sinus pressure. That's fun. Maybe the blow my nose. My nose is like so friggin' stuffed. Completely full, I can't even breathe. Oh, sorry, hold on. This was, I think I accidentally turned shuttles.
What's that floating there? Me that? So, chemical dispenser. It helps to keep the water clean. I'm not sure what you're trying to ask me here, cold bacon. To be honest with you, I'm really not sure what you're asking about rebirthing someone here. So you're trying to rebirth a character. Like, are you asking, like, can anyone hold your stuff, like, in Diablo? Are you asking Diablo 3? I mean, like, that term could possibly be used. Like, I'm not really sure what you mean by that. I think you may mean Diablo 3, but you're using some terms here. You're gonna have to be a little more specific. Can anyone hold your stuff when you rebirth? So, what I will tell you is if you rebirth in Diablo, essentially what you're doing is you're starting that character back over at 0, at level 1, essentially, to play it again for seasonal. So, if the character that is holding the stuff is also a seasonal, then yes, I believe so. There shouldn't be any reason why not, if that's what you're asking. But again, rebirthing implies that you're like referring to a seasonal. I would assume, right? Because that would be the purpose of rebirthing. Otherwise, it really wouldn't be a reason to do it. So. Does that answer your question? I think that's how I would answer it for Diablo. So I don't know specifically what you meant, but Troll Slayer. Have you had a few? No. Ginger ale, if you count that as a few drinks. I had some grape soda earlier. This is just ginger ale. Extremely good ginger ale, so. I just have too much. And I guess that I was going to do the stream today, but obviously that's not going to happen. And the question is, when? I don't know. If I feel like doing it, I'll do it, but it just, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'm not going to talk about the personal stuff, but a whole lot of personal stuff. A whole lot. Every time I have a new thought, when I'm trying to let you guys know what I'm gonna say next, that thought is viciously interrupted by everything going on. I'm sorry for all the pausing. I want to say I appreciate the supporters, people that support me for real. Sorry, guys. Do the best I can here. The best I can here. I just, it'd be the sort of thing where if I told you everything, I think it would be sort of unbelievable. I feel like people would just think I'm like all right, now it's a lie. Like now it's, I just feel like it's the sort of thing where it really is just so fucking much. It really is unbelievable. Really, really is. So, yeah, that's what's why I keep getting at a crossroads, I suppose. What to say next? I'll tell you kind of what's going on. I want to do that stream I do, but I just don't feel up to it. It's the sort of thing where it's the sort of thing where, like, I'll go ahead and do that, but I'm gonna do it. I was just really looking forward to having fun with it myself. And not being, stressed shit. Like just beyond anything a normal person can. Because the point is, if I told you, like the whole point is, it really is unbelievable. Like just the amount of things. It's just. It would probably take forever too. It's insane. And just saying that I don't really quite know if I'll feel up to, because I want to have fun with it when I do it. It would be fun to have fun with it, I suppose, for lack of a better description. Alright, just kidding. Fucking talk right now. It's just so freaking crazy that I suppose a better way to say it would be just to use the phrase that it really does feel like a small world at times. Especially with just everything. It really, really does feel like a small world. Way too small. Yeah. Fun stuff, man. Boy, let me tell you what. If that man wasn't right about some shit, let me tell you what. just know that you're not alone. You know, this shit's going around, man. That's all I gotta say. Just know you're not alone. This shit's fucking going around, man. You know, you got a bunch of jerks that think it's super funny to belittle somebody in their chat or something like that, and do so with a huge amount of accounts all at the same time. You know, the people that have to deal with shit like that, and people that, you know, I don't know, maybe some stupid shit that happened at a certain convention that shouldn't have happened. People like that, or people that, you know, consistently, just in general, get taken advantage of just because they're there. I'm sorry, and you're not alone. Just remember that. Just always remember that. No, just remember that. It's not about some, you know, like some sort of gender thing. And the whole point is the moment you remove that, that slowly goes away. It stops ingrating people. Stops making them do it inherently, separating their mind. Yo, I talked about this. I think even just maybe 2 days ago. I don't remember, so much shit's going on, I can't remember. But I talked about this very recently. You have to remember that you always have to remember that you are not alone, that you know, just like the actor-actress thing, where there's this whole push to, like the whole point is to get people to recognize it. I have to admit that I need to recognize things like that too. That has that effect too. You should, like, why would you differentiate? It doesn't make any sense. And so, you get what I'm saying, I'm sure. Just, be careful. In today's world, it's just, it's gotten freaking insane. There's nothing. There's nothing that's like, never mind. I'm sorry, guys, that may not last too much longer. Surprised it lasted this long. Again, just mainly got on here to kind of say I didn't know if content would be sort of regular in the coming, time. Because personal things, and it's not something I'm going to sit here and talk about. So just know that it's more than the usual sort of thing. It's not as basic as you would think. A lot of the situations, a lot of the things that are happening, have happened. Every one of them is very complicated, very traumatic, and very circumstantial. In fact, almost every single one is like that. And almost every one of these situations that's happening to me, most people would consider a personal crisis, sort of midlife crisis situation, sort of thing. And I have quite literally a half dozen or more of these things happening to me all at the same time. So no character for you today, guys. No freakouts. No extra bullshit. I just don't care. Sorry. I know it's probably disappointing to hear that, but yeah. Hopefully you guys are at least getting some sort of background noise out of this. These ridiculous rambling that you're listening to. I get it. I do. I'm not oblivious to the part that is fun about this whole thing. Part of what I do is sort of put in the act like I don't know. And if I didn't, you get the point. Yeah, I get it. You know, it really is a lot of the same stuff. But you find somebody that speaks to you and you agree with, or you follow, or you like, or whatever, and you support them. And you lurk most times. It's boring as shit. It's the same as it always is. But because you supported them and you lurked long enough, you're there for the bonus, the magic. Those few times where those hilarious moments happened, and you were there for it. I get it, guys. I'm not an idiot. I'm not oblivious to how it functions. I'm not oblivious to... I realize how fucking dorky it is to sit here and outright say these stupid things. And just so done with everything. something that you guys have to understand is when excuse me, when legitimate wisdom with a skill, something that I spent my heart and my blood, sweat, and tears poured into it for a really long time. And something like this is so easily mocked. Just so fucking casually. Every one of these people mocking it can't even comprehend, express the gravity of the extent of everything they reject by doing that. But wholly aside from that, you have to understand just the sheer weight of that to somebody that earned it, that never fucking boasted, that never did the stupid trophy thing that could have. It was easily somebody that could have handled tournament and trophies, medals. The whole point is that none of that fucking means anything. None of it. It's just hunks of metal. Just more weapons for you sitting around your house. But, I mean, seriously. And in all seriousness, when somebody that goes through that level of training, like that no average person could ever even come close to comprehending how difficult this is. And it's just so easily mocked. To be absolutely perfectly candid with you guys, at that point I sort of decided I was never gonna show anybody who Sifu was anymore, who I was. I was never gonna be that person anymore in front of people, because that's what people did. Nobody does that in person because they don't dare. I never once had anybody do that in my class, and the only time somebody came in the school and did it, my training did what it was supposed to do. The one time that somebody came in to challenge that. So the point is that most people will just mock it with empty words. And so that's me being completely candid with you. And that's, so this might be some of the only time that you're going to hear me be, sort of kind of more like this. Because, again, we're not going to get too personal. We want to keep more of a character-based, sort of thing. Because, again, being honest, going back to those moments when I was me, and all that, everything I worked for just instantly mocked. I'm literally never gonna, it's just not gonna happen. So, that was that decision. That's me being fully candid with you about that. And I don't have anything to prove to anyone about those things. That's how I looked at those competitions and stuff. That those people that do those things just, they do them because they have something to prove. I just don't care. I already proved to myself becoming a Sifu, all the skills that I obtained over those years, learning and teaching, plenty confident. So, just the fact that it just was so regularly mocked. Yeah. So I'm not, I'm not that person on the stream anymore, And like I said, in the sense of trying to be as honest as I can be, is partially why I sort of kind of have been sporadic in some of the training videos and stuff, because I want to do them for the people that appreciate them, because I know there are some people that actually do, and they really do appreciate them beyond what they can express, and that's what people can't understand. They're the ones that are trolling. And so I guess I'll do what I normally do, what any teacher does. I'll tell you a story. and I'll leave names out. Oh man. So I'm just, give me a second here. Just, pain's super fun. It really is. It's never when you want it to happen, obviously. It's sort of like, hey, here's a thought. I'm on a roll. I can talk again. Nope. What the fuck? Sorry. Give me a second. I finished my drink too and haven't gotten another one, so fluids would be nice, but that's alright. Oh man. Oh, this is not fun. Well, that makes talking interesting. So, oh my gosh, I keep trying to talk and it just immediately radiates right through the freaking cranium. Just right through it. Holy hell. Like, you need to understand that I already have this painful thing going on the bottom part of my face. And then now I have this other really painful thing going on the top part of my face. So that's pretty much just my whole head just radiating immense fucking pain. So I apologize for the intrusion of my whining about this. I really do, because I really do look at it like that. I don't enjoy whining about pain. I think it's weak and stupid to whine about such like an emotion. You know what I mean? Like, just get over it, sort of thing. But like, I understand some people aren't built that way, so like, I get other people can. I'm just saying, as far as like myself is concerned, I try to look at it like that, so that like it's, you know, like tactic for me, if you will. Oh my god. Fun stuff. I think fluids would probably help. Oh my gosh. Alright, look, I was gonna sit here. I am fucking, like, this is robbing. I was gonna sit here. I can give you some. Oh my god. Look, man, let me just level with you. Jeez. Yeah. Because that's all I can do right now is level with you. Because holy crap, I can't explain anything. I can't even think. I can just talk. I can't think. That's the problem. Every time I'm about to say something, the whole thought is gone to this hurts like balls. Alright, so yeah, that's what you have to realize about the way I wear my paint. I try to invoke some sort of hilarity to trick my brain. Helps. Anyway, you know, like instead of ow, I say balls. You get what I'm kind of saying there. Fuck. So anyway, I'm just gonna level with you. You know, I was gonna sit here and tell you a whole fucking thing about this and that and the other thing. I just can't do that apparently right now. I'm really sorry. It's really annoying because you guys know how I love to tell a good story. Holy shit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna level with you and be as honest as I can be and just tell you that truth is martial arts has as much politics in it as government does, and so does a lot of things. That's the truth. It's the honest to God truth. If you claim to have knowledge and such and such, there's always somebody that claims their style is better, yada yada yada. But you have to understand, if it's not about that, the whole point is it's about what works. I don't care about style. I don't, it's the same reason why I told you that, a lot of the time when, in a real situation, if I was sparring somebody or attacked by somebody, I probably wouldn't even necessarily slip into some sort of like tiger stance or something like that. Because what you have to understand is, in reality, that projects what you're going to do next. So why would I do that? Now, some people use this as a setup, but the whole point is that if you start with that, if you square off with it, it's not necessarily the case. Having just a general sort of like guard and stuff is way better. So yes, technically speaking, a lot of times, like boxers and stuff, or somebody that just knows how to guard themselves, if you know how to guard yourself well, great. A lot of times that's really, the thing. And the whole point is that people, I'm so sorry, I'm having a hard time talking. People really use politics to try to sit here and define whether they do and don't know something. Like, oh yeah, I know best, or something like that, except unfortunately sometimes people are just wrong. The only reason that I say that I know that is because of literally decades of experience of me dealing with people that were literally like, they would come in and tell me they're like 4th or 6th degree black belt at this or that and the other thing. And, they're like, oh, this is how we do this, and I'm like thinking to myself, really? That's how you do that? So wait, let me get this straight. So wait, let me get this straight. You intentionally leave yourself open and then put your arm in a place where it'd be very easy to trap it behind your own head if I was a grappler. Which I am, because I know how to do all that stuff, because there's grappling in martial arts, and anybody should learn it if they call themselves a master or anything like that, even close to that. So the whole point is, immediately, if your hand is there, and it's too high, and it's bent that way, guess you shouldn't do that then, huh? Because then it, A, leaves you open, and B, makes it so that I just want to trap your arm there. So why wouldn't you just learn to never do that and accept that somebody else is right about that? So honestly, that's like literally like 90% of what I see is people doing crap like that. They think they know everything just because of this. It's politics. They won't accept new information. They just literally won't do it. They think, they think, brute force sort of situation. And that's actually a lot of the problem. A lot of the time, that's how I use to actually explain that they would get hit. There's times where flat out somebody is larger and has leverage over them. Their blocks and the way they do things just flat out would not work at all. And there are literally entire examples of this all throughout certain karate, like styles of karate, like different styles of karate and stuff like that. I'm not going to sit here and necessarily name the ones, but as somebody that did many years of Tang Soo Do myself before doing Kung Fu, I can speak from experience that they do many things wrong. Just wrong. That if you did this in a real self-defense situation and the person was stronger than you, they would win quite easily. And it's like a good portion of the things they do. It's like that. Where they do a block, but there's no grab. Their hand isn't open, it's closed. Why would you do a block with your hand closed? You have control of the arm. Grappler would agree with me. So why wouldn't you apply what you know about grappling to stand-up fighting? And understand that you should always have your hands open. And literally, unless you are a Sifu level, where you understand how to use those fists like that, where you stand with your hands closed, and you know what you're doing with that, or you're using it for a specific purpose, then fine. But otherwise, you should never really stand like that. Your hands should always be open, because it's far more effective, more control over the arm. Like, the amount of times that I was in a sparring situation and I blocked somebody's arm, barely. Like, I didn't even have to use any effort. Like, literally just light tap, block their arm, no effort, and because of this, it tricked them. And they didn't even feel it. And so they shifted differently because of this, and it tricked them, and then I grabbed their arm and yanked their whole body off balance. And that was my setup. And they were like so confused. They had no clue what I did. Can you imagine? You're not even an advanced fighter and somebody does that? But to me, all I did was root myself properly and hold on to his arm. And he did the rest of the work. So an experienced fighter understands what I'm saying. But this poor guy, he's just lost. And so this is the point. This is an example of a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo that did this shit. Where he just kept doing the same dumb thing, where he just kept thinking he was going to hit me in the head. But he was just making the same mistake over and over. And the whole point was that was what was happened by the end of it, was that he was confused. No, I explained it. I tried to help him understand what was happening there. But, I could tell, felt a little foolish. And that's typically how it goes. I feel really bad. And I try not to have it go that way, but that's typically what I see. These guys just feel like they wasted so much time. Like, they come into the school, all these years they spent getting these black belts. And day one, there's people they're doing techniques with that are they're like an orange sash or something like that. And some of their blocking and stuff is more crisp than basically maybe they wouldn't be able to take them a sparring match, but they could sit there all the live long day and block everything they threw at them. So that's the reality, is they could easily see that we were doing things properly versus basically it was just obvious there were some fundamental things and I always see it. I see it every time, and that's just why I made the switch, because I saw it too. That's all. I literally just for a long time I didn't realize my own intellect, I suppose, my own intelligence with martial arts, but I definitely would figure things out, concepts and stuff like that, even long before I was able to do them. And I figured out that it was kung fu that had everything that you would need, simply watching some of those movies and watching martial artists like Jackie Chan, Jet Li, some of these guys, Donnie Yen, Tony Jaa, that they're, and Bruce Lee, that their original thing was kung fu. While they might say that they specialize in this or that or the other thing, because it's popular to say that, if they're real serious and they're skilled, it's kung fu, because the point is that everybody sort of kind of just that's serious about it starts to gravitate there, because that's where the skilled people are. You just figured out. So that's the point. And I wasn't trying to compare. I know I'm sort of mentioned this briefly in passing. I mentioned this before. The Mike Tyson Donnie Yen thing, and I'm pretty sure Donnie Yen accidentally injured him when they were doing that whole fight scene tape and stuff. I wasn't trying to make it seem like, I mean, he is hugely more skilled, but it shouldn't be an ego thing. Don't take it like that. I don't mean it like that. I just understand that one is meant for sport and one is meant for combat. Real combat. Like the kind of combat where if I'm standing by myself, I should realistically be able to take 15 to 20 people, sort of no problem, within a few seconds, kind of scenario. No joke, no, again, that's the point. The point is to be able to understand how to use what people throw at you and not project. That's the point. And otherwise you're wasting time and you're not being efficient. That's what all fighting is. It's just chess. That's what chess is too. Always a step ahead, or however many steps ahead. So you get that way by already being there, by already understanding that your hand should be open, because then you can grab the arm. Otherwise you can't. Otherwise they simply move away and you don't have that advantage. Most people don't understand that even just that skill set there teaches you probably about a dozen other different things just because you learned that. So now you'll have to start understanding about a dozen other different things just because you learned that properly instead of wrong. So now do you get it? Now do you understand why it's a joke? And why I can just sit here and be like, no, that's wrong, that's right. Because it's not me trying to have an ego about certain things. It's just there is a wrong and a right. There's a way that's going to get you hit in real combat warfare versus sport martial art. It's not something that you troll and make fun of. It's an affirmative thing. And it's not easy, and by no means comes to the faint of heart to be of that skill level either, trust me. It is not for the faint of heart. I'm not going to describe certain training methods, but blood, sweat, and tears, okay? And it's exhausting seeing just so many people base concepts of what they know because they saw it in an MMA fight or something like that, and now you're basing that off of something that's based off of a rule set which completely does not apply to people. Like, you have to understand that in a real combat situation, within several seconds of that combat situation, I will have roughly 3 to 4 guys with, if they don't even have weapons, I'll have probably two of them will have broken knees, and the other two will not be breathing. Well, they'll be choking, and they'll be laying on the ground, and they'll be moving on in seconds. And you can't do that in an MMA fight. You can't. That's Kung Fu, man. That's a Sifu. You think I'm gonna hit you in the face? That's so basic. Okay? This is what people just... There are rules and stuff against these things. Okay? And everything that I have been trained to do is to break those rules from the very second that I start combat. Okay, and you think that a Sifu isn't a match for Mike Tyson? Somebody that just punches? Well, that's why it kind of sounds like you're joking, you know, and so the mockery is a bit of a mockery in itself. It's just absurd. And Donnie Yen's more skilled than I am. I'm not claiming to be more skilled than him. I don't know what his title is, but he certainly deserves that title. I'm pretty sure he's a Sifu title, or both. Donnie Yen's one of the most skilled. I believe him to be one of the most skilled fighters on the planet. So I'm just gonna offer that out there. I mean, these guys are no joke. It's not an act. There's no act with the guy that did the bottle cap challenge blindfolded. For real. No parlor tricks. He won the bottle cap challenge. In my opinion, my humble opinion. Donnie Yen won it. If you can kick a bottle cap off blindfolded, yes, you win the bottle cap challenge. It was really crisp. It was pretty amazing. So anyway, the point is that you see somebody really huge trained to hit really hard, and in a second he can knock you out. Meanwhile, I see quite literally thousands of different ways to keep him far enough away that those hands will never touch me. And the whole point is, even if he does get close enough, I like what they did with it, where he would shift his head to the side, then have him hit like objects and stuff. Well, in reality, Mike Tyson can't do that. The first time he would do that, he'd break his hand. A boxer can't punch through like glass and stuff. It's just absurd. A lot of that was fantasy. People asked me to weigh in on it a while back, but a lot of that is pretty fantasy. And if you want to know the true Sifu, Kung Fu sort of instructor take on it, it wouldn't have gone that way. So Mike Tyson is sort of lazy. He doesn't look like it, but he's really lazy with his footwork. He didn't used to be. That's why he can't. That's why he's not as fast anymore. And it's a shame his trainer can't tell him that. It's not his hands; it's his feet. He can't move his feet anymore. He's super slow. So, and not only that, but like the whole point is he's a boxer. So like again, the 1,000 things that I'm trying to do to not let him hit me. He is never gonna see how it happens, but Mike Tyson's going to fall straight on his face. That's what's going to happen. Because that's what a Kung Fu practitioner would do. He wouldn't waste time with somebody that knows can knock him out in a second. He literally wouldn't even think twice about it. He wouldn't give him a second to even think. Just literally take batters into his own hands immediately. There's just no thought about it instantly. So, and that's what Kung Fu is. That's what you have to understand is it's the ability to already be 9 steps ahead and then also faster and more precise with technique because it makes more sense than the other stuff. It's just more efficient too. So like just everything just works better. So, and that was all the stuff I understood when I switched, and I was like, oh, okay, and I'm done with Tang Soo Do. It's not that great, and that didn't take me long. A couple of years of that, and I was like, well, they're trying to hold me back when it's very easy to do this stuff, and I'm ready to move on. There's like this, oh yeah, you're gonna have to pay for a test and schedule it. It's just a stupid process to make it. It's a scam, make you pay more money, and it's so dumb. So anyway, I just obviously the rest is history. Obviously found a good Kung Fu system for it. Speaks for itself. And I have to get going. I gotta blow my nose. I gotta get off here. Just have to do stuff. Can't. There's a lot of personal stuff. There's just too much. There's too much. And so yeah, like I said, I was just coming on here to let you guys know I don't know even really how frequent, if the streams are happening at all. I just have to, take care of some things. Take care of personal stuff. So, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate you guys being so supportive. I really have to go though. Really gotta go. So thank you.